Joel Osteen spent 25 years building Lakewood into America's largest church. Then in one horrific afternoon, everything changed. A woman with a history of mental illness brought a gun in church and started shooting. But that wasn't Osteen's only crisis. From a $4.4 million COVID loan controversy to accusations of exploiting his ministry for profit, this is the story of how America's most famous pastor faced his darkest days. Joel Osteen was born on March 5, 1963 in Houston, Texas. He was the fifth of 6 children in his family. At the time of his birth, his father John Tin had gone through a huge change in his faith. In 1958, John experienced something he called the baptism of the Holy Spirit. It completely shifted how he saw religion. He left the Southern Baptist Church and started something new. On Mother's Day in 1959, John founded Lakewood Church. The church was small at first, with only 90 people meeting in an old feed store. Joel grew up watching his parents build the church with hard work and determination. By the late 1970s, the church had grown to over 5,000 people, making it one of the largest in Houston. As a child, Joel was very different from his father. John was bold and full of energy, preaching with passion, while Joel was shy and liked to stay out of the spotlight. He wasn't the kind of person you'd expect to lead a big church. When he turned 17, Joel didn't follow the usual path of becoming a preacher. Instead, he went to Oral Roberts University in Oklahoma to study radio and television, but after just 1 year he dropped out and went back home. He wanted to help his father grow Lakew's television ministry. That decision would shape his future in ways no one could have predicted. For 17 years, Joel stayed behind the scenes. He helped his father grow the church's TV broadcasts and made sure everything ran smoothly, but he had no desire to preach. Joel was shy and felt nervous speaking in front of people. Plus, he thought his father was so good at preaching that he could never match him. Even when John encouraged him to try, Joel always said no. He was happy staying in his comfort zone, working behind the camera. Everything changed in January 1999. John was in the hospital and couldn't deliver the weekly sermon. Joel finally agreed to preach. For the first time, he was nervous but felt like he had to do it. Just 6 days later, John passed away unexpectedly at 35. Joel suddenly found himself in charge of Lakewood Church. He didn't feel ready, and many people wondered if he could handle it. Even Joel doubted himself at first, but Joel didn't give up. A Bible verse inspired him: David served God's purpose in his own generation. This gave Joel the confidence to lead in his own way. Instead of trying to be like his father, he focused on what he was good at, speaking with a calm, positive, and relatable style. People loved it. The church started growing fast. By the end of the year, more services were added because so many people wanted to attend. Lakewood's TV broadcasts also expanded, reaching millions of homes. At that time, around 5,000 people came to the church every week. Just 6 years later, that number grew to 30,000. This was a huge change, growing 5 times bigger in such a short time. Joel's style of preaching was different. Instead of scaring people with warnings about sin, he focused on positive and hopeful messages. People loved hearing about encouragement and possibilities. His very first sermon, just after his father passed away, set the tone for this style. By the end of that year, Joel officially became the church's leader. The church didn't just grow in the number of people coming every week, it also reached more people around the world through TV. By 2005, Joel's sermons were being shown in over 100 countries. This helped spread his message to millions of people outside the church walls. Joel also helped the church grow physically. In 2001, Lakewood made a bold decision to lease the Compact Center in Houston. This building used to be a basketball arena for the Houston Rockets. Renovating it into a church wasn't easy. The church spent $95 million to transform it into a 16,000-seat worship space. They added 5 stores and made it feel completely new. By 2005, the church moved into its new home, becoming the biggest church in America. Later in 2010, they bought the building outright for $7.5 million, which surprised some people because the price seemed low, but experts explained it made sense because the church had already spent so much on renovations. Today, Lakewood Church welcomes about 45,000 people every week. That's bigger than some small towns. Joel's sermons also reach millions of people on TV and online. In the U.S. alone, 10 million people watch his sermons weekly, and his broadcasts are shown in over 100 countries. Joel also connects with millions of followers on social media, making his message even more global. What makes Lakewood special is how diverse it is. People from all kinds of backgrounds come together, and the church offers services in English and Spanish. It's not just about religion either. In 2018, they held a special event with Kanye West that brought in 177,000 people, showing how the church can reach new audiences. Joel's way of preaching is one of the reasons for his success. His messages are simple, positive, and easy to understand. He focuses on hope and practical advice instead of complicated religious ideas. Some people love this style because it feels uplifting, while others criticize it for being too light. Joel also avoids talking about sin or judgment, saying he wants people to feel good when they leave church. His approach has helped millions connect with faith in a new way. Meanwhile, Joel Osteen has often been criticized for his focus on money and success. Many people say his prosperity gospel teachings are more about being rich than about real Christian values. Osteen became the church leader in 1999, and since then his message has been that God wants people to succeed in life, including financially. His book Your Best Life, now published in 2004, tells readers to think positively and expect blessings. He wrote that believers should stop thinking small and start expecting promotion and supernatural increase. Critics argue this is not what Christianity is really about. The Bible often talks about giving up material wealth and focusing on spiritual things instead. For example, in the book of Luke, Jesus tells people to give up everything you have. Osteen's sermons also avoid topics like sin and repentance, which are central to traditional Christianity. Instead, he uses a self-help style that is optimistic but leaves out important parts of the gospel. In interviews, he has sometimes been unclear about key beliefs like whether Jesus is the only way to heaven. On top of that, his personal wealth, which is estimated to be as much as $100 million, has made people question his message. Much of his money comes from selling books and giving paid talks. Critics wonder how a preacher with so much money can represent Christian values like humility and sacrifice. Even so, Osteen has a huge following. Lakewood Church is one of the biggest churches in the world, with over 50,000 members. And his sermons are watched by millions. Another big controversy happened in 2020 when people found out Lakewood Church took a $4.4 million loan during the COVID-19 pandemic. The loan came from a government program meant to help small businesses pay their workers during hard times. People were upset because Osteen is so wealthy and the church already has a lot of money. They felt that the money should have gone to small businesses that really needed it. The church said they used the loan to pay their 368 employees and provide health insurance for their families. They also said they waited to apply for the loan until it became clear that the pandemic would last a long time. Even so, people criticized them because other smaller organizations were struggling to get help. After months of backlash, the church paid back the entire $4.4 million in October 2021, but the controversy made people question how big churches handle their money. One of the worst moments for Osteen came in 2017 during Hurricane Harvey. The hurricane caused massive flooding in Houston and left thousands of people homeless. Many churches and mosques opened their doors to help, but Lakewood Church stayed closed. The church said it couldn't open because the building was flooded, but videos online showed the area around the church looked fine. People were angry and accused Osteen of not helping when the community needed him the most. Some even said he was more worried about protecting the church building than helping people. After days of criticism, Osteen announced that the church would open its doors to evacuees. He later explained that the church was being careful because of a past flood in 2001 which had damaged the building. He also said the plan was always to open as a shelter if other places filled up. In interviews, Osteen admitted that they could have handled the situation better. Later, the church helped by providing supplies and sheltering people, but many felt the damage to Osteen's reputation had already been done. People saw the delayed response as a failure of leadership and a lack of compassion. On February 11, 2024, something unimaginable happened at Lakewood Church. It was just a normal Sunday afternoon when 36-year-old Jessie Yvonne Moreno walked into the church with a rifle in her hands and her 7-year-old son by her side. She wore a long trench coat and carried an AR-15 style gun. The security guard at the entrance, who wasn't armed, let her inside. What followed changed the church forever. As soon as Moreno entered, she started shooting in the hallway. She also threw some kind of substance on the floor and shouted that she had a bomb. The sound of gunfire echoed through the church, and it was even heard on the live stream being broadcast at the time. It caused panic everywhere. Investigators later found something chilling. The rifle she used had the word Palestine written on it, and anti-Semitic writings were found in her belongings. This made people wonder if her actions were driven by hate. On top of that, Moreno had a history of mental illness. In 2016, she was placed under emergency detention for mental health issues, yet in December 2023 she was able to legally buy the gun. This raised serious questions about how she got it. The attack happened right before the church's Spanish language service, which usually draws a huge crowd. It seemed like the timing wasn't random, adding more fear to the situation. Two off-duty officers working as security didn't waste time. One was a Houston police officer and the other worked for the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. They confronted Moreno and exchanged gunfire with her. It was a terrifying shootout with over 30 shots fired in just minutes. By 2:07 p.m. Moreno was shot and killed. Her attack ended before she could get into the main sanctuary, which was a relief for everyone. But the tragedy didn't end there. Moreno's 7-year-old son was caught in the crossfire. He was shot in the head and rushed to the hospital in critical condition. It's still Unclear whether his mother accidentally shot him or if it happened during the gunfight. This heartbreaking detail made the situation even harder to process. People were left asking how this could happen, especially when there were warnings about Moreno in the past. Her ex-mother-in-law had tried to get custody of the boy in 2022, saying Moreno had schizophrenia and could be violent. She also said there should have been laws to stop Moreno from buying a gun. After the shooting, Pastor Joel Osteen spoke to his church, trying to comfort everyone. He admitted that what happened was hard to understand. "We don't know why these things happen," he said, "but we know God is in control." His message was about staying strong and keeping faith. During the next Sunday service, he told everyone, "Fear will not win, faith will win." He thanked the security team and the officers for stopping the shooter before she could do more harm. He also asked people to pray not only for the victims but for Moreno and her family. His words showed compassion even for someone who had caused so much pain. This shooting changed how people see churches. Before, churches were places people thought were peaceful and safe. Now many feel anxious about going. A survey showed that 37% of regular churchgoers feel nervous about attending services. After what happened, it's not just about feeling safe, it's also about how this fear is breaking the sense of community that churches are supposed to build. The people of Houston showed incredible support after the shooting. Within hours, over 2,000 people gathered outside Lakewood Church for a vigil. They lit candles, sang hymns, and prayed together. People from all faiths came to show love and unity. Local businesses also helped. Over 50 restaurants gave free meals to the church staff and volunteers. Mental health organizations offered free counseling to anyone affected by the tragedy. Blood donations went up by 300% in just 3 days, with many donors saying the shooting motivated them to help. Something unexpected also happened after the shooting. Church attendance in Houston went up. Many churches reported 20 to 30% more people coming to services. It seems that in hard times people turn to faith and community for comfort and strength. The shooting also started a big debate about guns and safety in churches. The shooter legally bought her weapon, even though she had mental health problems. Some people say this shows the need for stricter rules like better background checks and mental health screenings. Others argue that having armed security at Lakewood proves the good guy with a gun idea works and that stricter laws wouldn't stop these kinds of attacks. Meanwhile, Joel Osteen and his ministry have faced many challenges and criticisms over the years, especially related to legal and financial matters. One of the most notable incidents happened in 2011, when musicians Richard Copo and John Emmanuel Su'd oin his wife Victoria and Lakewood Church. They claimed the church had illegally used their song "Signaling Through the Flames" in advertisements for Osteen's DVD Supernatural. The musicians said Lakewood Church had a license to use the song for a year, but after it expired in February 2011, the church kept using it without permission. The musicians demanded $3 million in damages, leading to a legal battle. Lakewood Church's spokesman Donna Loff dismissed the lawsuit as unreasonable, saying the song was just 1 minute of background music. This response sparked more controversy, with the plaintiff's lawyer insisting that copyright laws applied to everyone, even churches. The case went on for months, drawing media attention and raising questions about how churches use copyrighted materials. In February 2012, a judge ruled in favor of Lakewood Church, stating the license agreement didn't cover the claims made by the musicians. Though Osteen and his church won, the case left a mark on their reputation and highlighted the complex issues mega churches face when dealing with intellectual property. Lakewood Church's finances have also been a source of scrutiny. The church has an annual budget of $90 million, and a breakdown of its spending raised eyebrows. In one fiscal year, $31.7 million was spent on weekly services, $6.7 million on events like Night of Hope, $25.1 million on the television ministry, and $1.5 million on administrative costs. Meanwhile, only $1.2 million went to missions and outreach. Critics argued this showed a focus on promoting the church rather than helping the community. Events like Night of Hope charged $15 per ticket, adding to concerns about commercialization. Osteen's personal wealth has also been a hot topic. His net worth is estimated at $40 million, and his home in River Oaks, Houston, is worth $10.5 million. The 17,000-foot mansion has 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, 3 elevators, and a pool house. Critics question whether such luxury is appropriate for a religious leader. Osteen has explained that he stopped taking a salary from the church in 2005 and that his wealth comes from his best-selling books. Still, some argue that the church's extensive media reach helps sell his books, blurring the lines between his personal profits and church resources. The lack of financial transparency adds to these concerns. Lakewood Church, like other religious organizations, doesn't have to meet the same reporting requirements as charities. This has made it hard for outsiders to verify how funds are used, leading to skepticism about the church's priorities. In 2007, the U.S. Senate Finance Committee investigated several prosperity gospel preachers for possibly abusing their tax-exempt status. Though Osteen wasn't part of the investigation, it brought more attention to the movement. Some of the preachers investigated were accused of using donations for personal luxuries like private jets and lavish homes. The investigation didn't result in charges, but it highlighted the need for more financial accountability among religious organizations. Tin's lavish lifestyle has often been compared to those of other controversial prosperity gospel figures. Critics say his wealth doesn't align with Christian teachings on humility and helping the poor. Despite this, Tin remains incredibly popular. His services attract tens of thousands of attendees each week, and millions more watch him on television. He often defends his success by saying God's blessings come in different forms and that he doesn't preach that everyone will become rich. Instead, he emphasizes that people should have faith in how God works. Osteen has also addressed questions about his home and lifestyle. He argues that it's not against God's will to have money and points to wealthy biblical figures like Abraham and Job. When criticized for not writing detailed financial reports, Osteen highlights the good his church does, such as disaster relief and community outreach. However, the lack of transparency continues to raise doubts and spark debates about the role of money in modern religious institutions. Joel Osteen's life is full of interesting stories, both personal and financial. He married Victoria Olof on April 4, 1987, and they've been partners in life and ministry ever since. Victoria was born on March 28, 1961 in Huntsville, Alabama. She didn't just stay in the background, she became a co-pastor at Lakewood Church, standing right beside Joel in their work. They have two kids, Jonathan, born in 1995, and Alexandra, born in 1998. Both grew up surrounded by their parents' church life and later joined, and they even formed a band together called LY, short for Lakewood Young Adults. The band makes upbeat worship music to connect with young people. They released their first song, Feelin', in 2016, and followed it up with an EP in 2019 called In the Name Volume 1. When it came time for college, Jonathan and Alexandra surprised many people. Instead of studying theology, they went to the University of Texas in Austin, 2 hours from their home. Jonathan graduated in 2017 with a degree in radio, TV, and film, while Alexandra finished in 2020. In 2022, Jonathan made headlines again when he married Sophia Hahn in a private ceremony. They kept it so low-key that Jonathan, who hasn't posted on Instagram since 2020, didn't share anything about it online. Joel's money has also been a hot topic. He says he hasn't taken a salary from Lakewood Church since 2005. Instead, he earns his income from his books and other products like calendars and inspirational guides. His books are so popular that he's made millions from them. Lakewood Church itself runs on a huge budget, about $70 million a year. In December 2023, the church paid off a $100 million loan, which amazed some people and made others question how they manage their money. Joel Osteen has become one of the most famous pastors in the world, and his story shows how he connected with millions of people. His first book, Your Best Life Now, came out in 2004 and was a huge hit. It sold more than 4 million copies and stayed on bestseller lists for over 2 years. People loved the book because it was simple, positive, and gave hope to anyone who read it. After that, he wrote more books like Become a Better You in 2007, and It's Your Time in 2009, which were also very popular. His books have been translated into over 50 languages, so people from countries like China, India, and Brazil could read them too. The money from these books was so much that Joel stopped taking a salary from his church in 2005 and lived only on his book earnings. Joel's sermons aren't just popular in church, they're on TV too. His weekly messages are watched by more than 10 million people in the US, but what really made him famous was being on shows like The Oprah Winfrey Show. In 2007, Oprah introduced him to an even bigger audience, and they worked together on other projects like a live event at Joel's church in 2012 that millions watched. He also appeared on shows like Good Morning America and Larry King Live, where he talked about faith and everyday issues. Joel even showed up in unexpected places like Tyler Perry's sitcom in 2016, where he played himself, and on Jimmy Fallon's Late Night Show in 2013, where he joked around and showed his fun side. Social media made Joel even more popular. By 2025, he had over 10 million followers on Facebook, 8.5 million on Twitter, and 5.7 million on Instagram. Every day, he posts short, positive messages that people love to share. For example, one Facebook post in 2024 got over 500,000 likes in just one day during tough times like in 2023. When the economy was struggling, his message about staying strong was shared over 1 million times and became a trending topic. He also does live sessions on Instagram answering people's questions and giving them hope. His team even got noticed by Facebook for how good they are at building a strong online community. Even though Joel is so famous, he still works hard as a pastor. His church, Lakewood, has over 50,000 people attending every week, and Joel gives 2 sermons every Sunday. He arrives early to Prepare and meet people showing how much he cares. His wife Victoria helps him as a co-pastor, and other pastors at the church. The daily work. Joel also started big events called America's Night of Hope, where he speaks to thousands in stadiums around the country. In 2023, one of these events in Dallas had 880,000 people. Joel has faced challenges too. During Hurricane Harvey in 2017, he was criticized for not opening his church as a shelter right away, but he quickly responded, housing hundreds of people and helping thousands more with supplies. This showed how he uses his fame to make a real difference when it's needed most. Joel Osteen's life is about spreading hope, whether through his books, TV, social media, or in-person sermons. His positive message has touched millions and continues to inspire people around the world.